Alright, welcome back to Isekai Quartet Anime Review, episode number 13. Well, we are here reviewing the final episode of Season 3 of the show, episode 35 of the show, Melody Music Festival, where everybody basically builds up to basically battling the giant plant monster. We even see a couple small references to ReZero Season 3 here, like Subaru bringing out his whip that he debuted in Season 3 of ReZero. And we do see also a couple characters from ReZero who, to my knowledge, have never interacted before. And those two characters being Julius and Rem. Here's the reason why. Now, Julius interacted with Rem's sister Ram, but Rem? No, this never happened. Not at all. I'm trying to think, what was the other reference? I think it was from Season 3. Well, of course, they have all this big magic. We have a little drain thing that Kazuma can do. Which, first time in this show he's ever done the drain ability. The reason why I say that is because he's never done this show. He's done it in the main Konosuba series, but never in this one. Nope, not really. I'm trying to think, what was the reference? I think it was to ReZero Season 3. It's not Beatrice. No, the whole thing with her is like, yeah, that's more stuff from at the end of Season 2. So eventually they do beat the plant monster, and of course they get the big button thing they get from the very first episode of the show. And then here's the weird thing. So we have our four original crossover characters: Ainz, Tanya, Subaru, and Katsuma. Where to decide who's going to press the button. Ainz did press it in episode 1 by complete accident by sitting on it. I think in the case of Tanya, she pressed it herself. Katsuma, he technically did not. That was actually Megami who did that. Subaru never pressed the button. How the heck the ReZero characters got here is a complete mystery. Yes. So, they press the button and it makes the same sound it did back in episode 1 with the doorbell thing, and then nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I'm like, what was the point of this three-parter? Then, like, oh yeah, get the magic button so I'll go home. I guess I can't go home yet for some reason. So, and then they just go back to whatever. We even have various references to various movies. Like we have Poltergeist do reference to The Shining with the Here's Johnny thing. We have The Right Stuff. Yes, we reference that. They reference Mad Max in the ending credit sequence. It's like, the ending credit sequence, yeah, let's do references not to these respective shows. Let's do references to American movies. And so far the ones I saw were The Shining, Mad Max. This looks like Fury Road, which technically is an Australian movie, but it's American. It's released in America. Let's see. There was a Planet of the Apes reference. We have Tanya basically in front of a basically just chopped in half Statue of Liberty, which I thought the movie references were really cool here. But I'm like, okay, so then what was the point of having this three-parter here? Oh, and the shadows, they just don't do much anything at all here, per se. Not really, no. By the way, Darkness is seen in the episode, but she has no speaking part. Yes, we do have pretty much the whole cast of all the series here, except for the Spirit Hero. Except for the Spirit Hero, he's not here. He technically appeared in 2 episodes. So, it's like, yeah, let's just basically just... I would think basically they will allow Konosuba, ReZero, and Sagatiba leave because they have 2 of them got seasons come up this year. ReZero's season comes on 3 freaking months. And in the case of Raija Hero, we do know season 5 is coming for that one, but no release date for that one yet. Excuse me, I think Konosuba was coming this year. I'm not sure. They just reconfirmed it just this year. And, okay, so it was interesting they added Innocent Shadow, but I kind of blame the cast of that show for the reason it goes. Because now we're in the final thoughts of the season. It's a good season, per se, of Isekai Quartet, but there is one small problem with it. That being the cast of Innocent Shadow. My only guess is the reason why they included them here, because they need to get them out there, because no one's seen this cast in animation in about, at the time this came out last year, first time in 2 years. Yeah. Been about 2 years since the end of season 2 of their show. And now we have the movie come out soon for them. So, oh, by the way, between the second season and this season, there was a movie released that has no dub. Yes, for some weird reason, there is no dub. I did remember seeing for, I think it was, me. Oh, here it is. So, okay, so it is here, but for some reason, Isekai Quartet movie, the movie Another World, this movie has no dub. The reason? I have no idea why. It is one of the most baffling decisions on the part of the studio. Well, actually, I blame this on Crunchyroll for giving it no freaking dub. Yeah, I don't know why. I will eventually watch this movie when they release a dub. It shouldn't be that difficult. I mean, the Emerson Shellcast is not in the frickin' movie. So, why is no dub for this? Good question. And yes, there's nothing done for that one. My biggest issue with this season, per se, is not basically the performances by the voice cast or the writing here. That's not my issue. My issue is twice throughout the season we had episodes get delayed for the season. And I kind of put the blame on the cast of Eminence and Shadow, because they're on the same schedule Crunchyroll is. They basically wait a certain period of time for their finally dub stuff. And because, of course, they probably have to contact them, like I mentioned, Eminence and Shadow is not on Crunchyroll. It's on High Dive. So, I tend to question, like, why would they include Eminence and Shadow if you're not going to do anything with them? Yeah, that was the problem with Eminence and Shadow for the inclusion here. It's like, yeah, we include something here. If just do something with these characters. Like, I like Eminence and Shadow, but I think the biggest fault of the season is that particular cast of characters, because they did well. Aside from Sarah Briefarm and Tanya, these characters did nothing. Oh, by the way, in case you're curious though, like, unlike the other series where we do get references to those, do we get any references to any Easter eggs for Eminence and Shadow? Well, aside from the fact that Shadow go back between Shadow and Clyde feigning ignorance over it, and the fact he does interact with the girls, yeah, he does interact with them. In the Shadow, he does. Even if he's not in his Shadow outfit, he does interact with them. Yeah, also, I have other issues with this season, like, didn't have a problem with the inclusion of Garfield and Otto. I had no problem with these two being included because they actually did stuff. Yeah, they actually contributed to whatever going on in the season. Spear Hero, he was out of the season, and he did nothing. He showed up for 2 episodes and did nothing afterwards. He showed up in his own self-titled episode. What did he do? And so pretty much every girl he came across got the crap beaten out of him by pretty much everybody except for Albedo and Tanya. because they had cowlicks on their heads. Youngling basically decided to be a very pretty girl. He insults her, calls her a pig. And her response? Beating him up, and she gets detention for it. Well, yeah, I don't think she got attention. But it's like everybody... Hey, I thought it was kind of funny. Rem and Ram, basically, because he insults both of them. So then they proceed to take their mallets out and basically nearly murder the man. I thought that was kind of funny. His debut episode was fine. And then they suspend the character. And then, like, nothing. We have him and Poltergeist return to the series. Poltergeist, we haven't seen him since season 1. It's kind of weird that he's here, given the fact in ReZero he's dead. Yeah, he died in season 1. Yeah, he was seeing flashbacks in season 2 before it became him. But it's like, what was the purpose of having him be here? Good question. Rem, I get the reason why she's here, because she's a fan favorite character, so of course we have to include her. Also kind of felt as though that some of the characters who had certain stuff to do with the first seasons, like, for example, Tanya, Monica Rell did a great job voicing the season. I kind of felt as though she was given nothing to do. It's like she was just there. Ainz, all-powerful Ainz, gets nothing to do. A lot of this season. Like, you don't think if anybody did anything this whole season, aside from maybe like a tad bit of Rem, you'd probably think, did Subaru do anything? Not really. Not even Katsumi. He didn't do any perviness stuff here. Do any of the cast Overlord shine in this? Aside from the fact we had some interaction between the Battle Maids and the Shadows, which I thought was really cool. I like their dialogue they have. Aside from exchanges dialogue, it just... Another problem I have with this season is that a lot of the characters get virtually nothing to do. So, it's like they throw in the cast Edmonton Shadow because I'm sure that probably, and this is my personal guess, I'm sure the studio was probably begging them to include them in season 3 of the show because they're still working on that freaking movie. They probably figured out, hey, we have these characters from this show we work on. Is a show we like to include the Shadows and Shadow himself in the show while we still work on this freaking movie that they've been stuck on for 2 years. Yes, stuck on it for 2 years, and it probably was begging the part of the studio who makes them a show to probably have them included in the show. At least, here's the thing. In the previous season of the show, the Rai Shiro cast actually had something to do. This season, like, name one character of this whole cast who got anything to do. Probably Wiz. Yeah, she got some funny bits here, but she didn't do a lot. Was this a pointless season? Not really, no. I did like the interactions between the cast Overlord and Emerson Shadow. I thought that was quite nice. But aside from that, it just kind of felt as though, like, a lot of the rest of the time, it just felt like just pointless stuff. It's just like stuff happens. It's like we have this season-ending big battle, and it's just a musical, which results in it just okay. It's not as grandiose as when they fought the Mole Fortress Destroyer in the first season of the show. But the only thing technically at the review for the show is the movie. Whenever they finally release that dub, heck, I even pointed out on Twitter about this. Like, yeah, I'm happy the fact season 3 is gonna dub. I pointed out, can they also dub the movie? It shouldn't be that freaking hard. I mean, they have all the cast on hand. They had maybe they did record it because it shouldn't be that difficult to contact every single person across all these shows. I'm sure Brady Knickerbocker is probably the easiest person to contact because she's basically voiced a character from 3 of the shows across over here: Konosuba, ReZero, and Raija here. These 3, no problem. Did have a problem with basically the four leads, basically where they just are trying to. I had no problem with that at all. I kind of felt as though they should have had Shadow and Natsuki should have stand there too, not just the four original leads. Also, another problem I have with the show is that a lot of the characters were missing. Like, for example, Albedo in the 11 episode season, she appeared like 4. Yeah, 4. Like, prior to this 3-parter, she'd been absent for several episodes. Yeah. But if you want to think, like, what is the only character to appear in all 35 episodes? Tanya did. Yeah, she did. She practically appeared in every episode. She never missed. Subaru missed a couple. Katsuma did. He missed a couple episodes. Shadow wasn't here a lot of the time. Like, they bring him in, but he's not in a lot of the show. Like, you see him maybe like 3-4 times throughout this whole season. The Shadows themselves pop up maybe 4 out of like 11 episodes. I'm like, you kidding me? Like, you think like, okay, what was the only cast who appeared in like pretty much every episode of the show? Like, since they showed up in it, I would say probably Rise of Hero. They're the only ones that have all their cast members except for Spear Hero, obviously. The 3 main ones, yeah, they pretty much appeared in all of the episodes of season 2 and season 3. Konosuba, on the other hand, it's like, who was appearing consistently throughout this whole season of Konosuba? I'd say it was probably Darkness. She was probably the only one who was consistently appearing, except for this last episode where she did nothing. She didn't have a line. Like, are you freaking kidding me? You have Darkness, one of the most awesome characters from Konosuba, and she does nothing. And now this video is basically longer than the actual episode. The episode was only 13 minutes, but most of it is basically just complimenting this. Okay. I thought the episode was overall interesting. It just, I had to close all the final thoughts to say, per se. Yep. So, with that, basically, Monday is now reduced from 2 down to 1. And that was next, My Hero Academia. And afterwards, I will go back to Vermilion Gold. Yeah, just by sheer coincidence, I just happened to work on today 2 anime featuring Monica Real. The one is already on the list anyways. Okay? So, that's pretty much it for the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. See you next week for My Hero Academia. Bye.